We have to discover that point. We have to know experientially then this feeling of arriving in my body. Now I am present in my body. Like this. We should know it. We can know it. It's not just some black hole mystery thing. This is our own body. If anything, we should know our own body. And once we feel settled, then move to the layer of the breath. Pranamaya kosha. Annamaya kosha, the meat body, the meat suit. Pranamaya kosha, the breath body. Settle into the breath. Relax into your breath. Allowing the breath to deepen and become more subtle, more full, more rich. Why not have a rich breath? Annamaya kosha, the body. Pranamaya kosha, the breath. Manomaya kosha, the mind. Then retract your senses like a turtle drawing its arms and legs and head into its shell. Draw seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and touching back into the center of your brain, or even better, into the center of your heart. No longer reaching for information from outside, but settling back into the core, into the essential, into the center of your being. From there, also not looking backwards into the past. I was like this happened to me, this person said this, whatever it may be. No need to reach into the past. We call playing in the graveyard, digging up the bones and such. No need. Also, no need to fantasize something about the future moment. The future will come on its own. The same, the river flows on its own. Pushing the river is a terrible waste of energy. And it's just silly and absurd. So settling into the now. The now is unknown. The now cannot be described. What can be described is already in the past, right? The description first it has to happen, then we have to perceive it, and then we have to attach a language and memory, and then we have to think it, and then we have to express it. So already it's so far gone. Anything that can be said is in the past. Even our ideas about the future are in the past. The present moment, living in the present moment, means living in the unknown, the unknowable. So we all are clinging to our concepts and ideas about life and about ourselves. And as such, then we're confining ourselves to the dead past. And we're missing the magic, the dance that's happening only here and now. The smile, we can only smile here and now. We can only laugh here and now. But the past is very serious. We have to protect all of our books and belongings. So the present moment is like free falling. Great quote by Chogyam Trungpa. I'm going to use two great quotes today. I didn't even know this Chogyam one. The bad news is you're falling. The good news is there is no ground. And this is Chogyam Trungpa. This is the present moment. The second one is sad, but we need to hear it. And we'll use this as the basis of our exploration of meditation. So this was a conversation, some of you may have heard of a man, Carl Jung, German psychologist and philosopher and creative genius. He was a student of Freud's at some point, but really had his own thing going. He did many travels around the world, including to India and such, but he was also in the Americas. And he had some interview with some of the Native American chiefs. And there's a specific one with the Pueblo Indians. And he was asking the chief about the white people, the Westerners. And this is what he said. Wow. Chief Mountain Lake said, "See how cruel the whites look. Their lips are thin, their noses sharp, their faces furrowed and distorted by folds. Their eyes have a staring expression. They are always seeking something. What are they seeking? The whites always want something. They are always uneasy and restless. We do not know what they want. We do not understand them. We think they are all crazy." When Jung asks why he thinks they are crazy, Chief Mountain Lake replies, "They say they think with their heads." "Why, of course," says Jung. "What do you think with?" "We think here," says Chief Mountain Lake. Meditation is simply coming from the head back to the heart. It's the medicine for this kind of insanity, this bottomless wanting, this endless wanting and not even knowing what it is we're wanting, this endless devouring of more and more and more and more and never enough. It's because we're out of center, out of tune. We're not using our body, heart, and mind in the correct way. And as a result, then we're creating terrible suffering for ourselves and for life around us. So first we have to understand that meditation, it's not like learning to paint or learning to dance or learning to do quantum physics or something. It's not something in itself, but it's a remedy, it's the medicine for this state of insanity. And we can say it very simply, coming back from the head into the heart. In Asia, the mind is in the heart. If you ask where's the mind in Japan or China or in Cambodia, it's here, it's not here. The mind is, of course the mind is everywhere also. Every cell, every tissue, every organ. And the mind is permeating our whole being. What we in the West normally think of in the mind is this like cunning, clever, manipulative planning to get what we want and use whatever means necessary, whether it's being nice, whether it's being mean, whether it's being sexy, whatever it may be. And what we consider to be the mind and our smartness, the intelligence, really is just this kind of social manipulation. But but even getting what we want doesn't fill that hole, doesn't fill that void. So meditation is the bringing us back to the natural intelligence of life. What is this intelligence? We're talking now Buddhimaya Kosha, the fourth body. Annamaya Kosha is the meat body. Anna is food. We call the food body. Pranamaya Kosha is the breath body. Manomaya Kosha is the mind body, the senses, and the basic functioning of the mind and memory. Buddhimaya Kosha is this deep intelligence, intuition. And this intelligence is a natural flow of life as well. The plant, the tree is super intelligence. From the seed, it knows exactly where and when and what to do in every moment. Perfectly in tune with life and its environments. Not caught up in, oh, this happened to me then, and this and that, and then stuck in all these kind of old trauma patterns. But responding spontaneously and naturally to life from moment to moment. Our cells as well know exactly what to do. It's never this confusion, oh, should I do this or do that? No confusion at all. So right now we are acting from a place of confusion and misunderstanding. From a place of lack, of not enough, and trying to fill it with something. And so we go trying a little of this, a little of that, a little of that, and spinning in circles and going in this way and that way. And it's not working. So we need to reawaken this deep intelligence, this natural, spontaneous life intelligence. So meditation is useful in this context. But its usefulness is different than the regular life hobbies and activities. It's like medicine for a kind of illness. So this has to frame it, because many people then don't want to do it the way it is. They want to do it the easy way or their way, or change it, or every now and then, and not this and that, and oh, but thoughts are coming up, I thought it was supposed to be silent. Whereas the meditation is bringing all this up, is undergoing the necessary transformations, the necessary purging, the necessary cleansing of our senses, of our mind, of our heart, in order to live with this deep intelligence and wisdom and beauty and peacefulness and kindness and patience and all of these things. So many people are judging the side effects or the detox process of the meditation, which goes on for a long time. Again, this is a chronic illness, this selfishness, this I-ness, this illusion, this delusion, this endless wanting and reaching. This has been going on since we were born, before even, in many lifetimes. So the remedy is going to take some time. As long as we're caught in time, it will take time. Once we can drop time and go beyond time, then it's instantaneous, then there's no time. But first we need to learn to enter into the timelessness. The present moment is timeless. There's no time in the present moment. The same way the present moment is unknown, unknowable. It's not in time, it's outside of time. Time is the past and the future, all of this counting and comparing and contrasting. So when we enter fully into the present moment, then we enter into the timelessness, and there's no question of doing something in order to get something. Instead, it's this being. We enter into the beingness, to the presence. And this beingness is love, is wisdom, is beauty. It's not a rule, it's not act like this and you'll get that. That's what we're waiting for. We want some better rules, some better games to play in order to get what we want. I don't want to feel pain, I don't want to have thoughts, I don't want to like this. No, it's the same selfish games. So meditation is bringing us back to the natural state of wholeness. So the important thing is, like with taking any medicine, to take it regularly, every day. Take the same dosage, gradually increasing the dosages, and if possible, the same time every day, and it is possible. So just work it out. The best time is first thing when we wake up. And if we don't have enough time, then we just wake up earlier. We can easily cut out 30 minutes sleep, 40 minutes sleep, 1 hour of sleep, and replace with meditation, with asana, with pranayama. And we'll feel more connected, more refreshed, more alive, more concentrated, more peaceful than the extra 10, 20, 30 minutes in the day. Or an extra take away 15, 20 minutes of the morning Facebooking, of the morning checking the news feeds and all of these things. Then we can have that time as well. So we can say that our skillfulness in meditation, at entering into the center of our being, at dissolving all of the inessential, all of the peripheral, all of the surface happenings, and of all those, only the few that we are actually able to process, right? Of all the things going around me now, I'm picking up maybe 5%. And of that 5%, then I'm understanding really nothing. There's nothing. The totality of things happening on this planet in this moment is so immense. There's no way to process that kind of information. So instead I just take this little circle around my body as far as my senses can extend. And even most of that is filtered out. And I take just this little part of a little part of a little part of a little part, and I make my story about that. Clearly it's going to be skewed. Clearly it's going to be partial and prejudiced by my past, my beliefs, my upbringing, my language, my culture, my socio-economic class, my biochemical state of being. So many. And the same thing, the same situation, then even tomorrow I'm interpreting differently. 6 weeks from now, 1 year from now, 5 years from now. So there's nothing stable about our understanding of our experience or who we are or of reality. So the process of meditation can be likened to that of someone learning to play the violin. At least the first 3 months or so, just holding the thing is like such a challenge. You can only hold it for so long. Like, I didn't play the violin, I played the double bass. So that's a little bit more comfortable. It's like hugging a big tree. But the violin is like this kind of thing, sort of small, and then the other hand's like this. So if anybody has learned something like that, a good couple months just with the physical uncomfortableness of holding the thing, let alone getting a sound out, forget about it, you know? And then a good several months or years of just squeaking, getting the right pressure on the bow, getting the smooth movement going back and forth, getting the right fingerings, like this. So the same with learning to hold our body, learning to move our breath, learning to concentrate our senses in the right place. It may take a good 6 months or a year just of fiddling around on the thing. And even then, after 1 year of practicing the violin, still very mediocre, no, even 2 or 3 years. Maybe after 4 or 5 years, then we can become okay at the violin, but it's not like we're going to become, Itzhak Perlman or one of the great professional violinists. So even to become a mediocre violinist, then we're talking about dedicating significant amount of time and energy, going through significant amount of challenges, in the uncomfortableness of our body and sacrificing things in order to play, in finding the time and all of these things that we're willing to do for things like, holding a box and a box of strings, or shooting a basketball into a hoop, putting a ball in a hole, then many people are dedicating a significant portion of their lives to these endeavors. So I tell you right now that if any person dedicates even half of that amount, or an equal amount, to the tuning of the body, heart, and mind to this awakening, then the results will be unimaginable. And it's not even about results, but the transformation is guaranteed. Yet, within most of the modern spiritual circles, spiritual practitioners and such, and the New Age stuff, and this new yoga movement, whatever that is, we're not even getting 1% of the amount that some of these artists and musicians and sports players are dedicating to their trade. So this regularity of practice, like a scientist, taking the regular fixed practice at times and then taking notes, paying attention, observing. I've been doing this 15 years now. It's still a very short period of time. There were times where I was practicing easily 10, 12 hours a day, for months at a time, years at a time. Still, it's nothing. It's very small.